Hope you're all very well. Welcome to my film and TV channel. Today we have a film review to have a look at, and it's from the Disney Pixar stable. So $150 million worth we've got on this one, so it might be an interesting little review on this one. It certainly is. Certainly my view and other people's views differ a little bit on this one. The film's called Soul. Please, if you're new to the channel, push that subscribe button and make sure you push that notification button if you want to know when these vlogs are coming out. I do TV drama reviews, film reviews like this, information, vlogs, quizzes, lots of different things. Please check the playlist. And if you do look at the playlist, you'll notice some stuff on my football team as well, Manchester City. I do a Citizen channel, it's called, where I do all City stuff, history, City present, quizzes on there as well. So if you or anyone you know might be interested in that, please point them in my direction. I would be very grateful. And there's a couple of links on screen as well, so if you're after friends or followers on Twitter and Facebook, just follow those links. And I do follow everyone back. I do check every couple of days and follow and friend everyone back. And of course I post lots of stuff on there, football related and film and TV related, so that might be of interest to you. Right, let's get on with this movie review. $150 million. You know, I mean, you think of the sort of sweeping epics like Lawrence of Arabia and Battle of Britain, all these things that obviously have thousands of extras, etc., etc. And, you know, you see a Disney animation and it's $150 million. I mean, what do you get for it? This is it. Well, according to what I've seen, you obviously get quite a lot for this one. It's a PG rating. An hour and 40 minutes, but a runtime about 90 minutes. You take out all the credits, and of course it's a computer animated fantasy comedy drama. Yeah, I mean, yeah, the comedy was okay. It made me smile. Produced by Pixar Animation Studios and released, of course, by Walt Disney Pictures. Directed by Pete Docter and co-directed by Kemp Powers. The film stars the voices of Jamie Foxx, Tina Fey, Questlove, Felicia Rashad, David Diggs, Richard Ayoade, I don't know how you pronounce that, my apologies Richard, and Angela Bassett. There you go. Yeah, and it's about Joe. Yeah, Joe's a middle school band teacher whose life hasn't quite just gone the way he expected. His true passion is jazz, and he's very, very good. But when he travels to another realm to help someone find their passion, he soon discovers what it means to have a soul. Yeah, I mean, there's little bits in between. That's a very, very short synopsis of the story. This is the first Pixar film to feature an African-American protagonist. So there you go. So what do we get for the $150 million budget? Is it any good? Well, Rotten Tomatoes, that's our first stop. The film has an approval rating of 97%. That's a 97% positivity rating. That's based on 186 reviews, not just a handful. And it's got an average score of 8.4 out of 10, which is still exceptional. It's got 181 fresh and just 5 rotten, so there are 5 people who didn't quite like it. And the site's critical consensus reads, a film as beautiful to contemplate as it is to behold. Soul proves Pixar's power to deliver outstanding all ages entertainment remains undimmed. Yep, okay. And the audience on Rotten Tomatoes, well, they like it. Joe Public, you can't argue with it. 1,648 reviews have been left. 91% positivity. So, how about Metacritic? What about the Metacritics? Are they having a downer on it? Probably not. No, 38 critics have left reviews, and it's an average score of 8.5 out of 10 or 85 out of 100, however way you want to look at it. And that's 36 positive reviews and just 2 mixed and zero negative reviews. And it scores anywhere between 6 and 10 out of 10. And the lowest score is from one of my sort of go-to review critiques, Empire magazine. Empire's Alex Godfrey gave it 6 out of 10 and wrote, while not quite offering the emotional gut punch it promises, its many ideas never completely cohering, Soul is nevertheless a gorgeous and a tender existential trip. It's full of surprises. Yeah, I can agree with elements of that. Movie Nation's Roger Moore, he gave it 7 out of 10. He quite liked it. He went on to say it's comical, but not really a comedy. Spiritual without being all that deep. but as it grapples with what drives a creative person, paints the afterlife and before life eternity in Picasso with a light pen strokes, and questions what makes life worth living, it can be quite touching. There you go. Yeah, this is the meaning of life, this film, isn't it? It answers all our questions, obviously. Well, for $150 million, I suppose you'd have to, wouldn't you? And IndieWire, I mean, there were 5 10 out of 10 reviews, but I'm not going to read one of them out. As you know me, with my 10 out of 10s, nothing's perfect, and certainly this isn't perfect. But IndieWire liked it, 9.1 out of 10, so I'll go along with that one. Like some of the best jazz compositions, it uses a traditional framework to veer off in many unexpected directions, so that even the inevitable and point feels just right. Yep, and the Metacritic audience, again, so Joe Public, they've left scores, 166 scores left as I'm reviewing this, 8.4 out of 10. So we're all in the 8s, aren't we? We're all getting at least 8 out of 10, 8.5 out of 10. Yep, Internet Movie Database, Joe Public, you, me, normal guys, 8.3 out of 10 based on 31,224 scores that have been left. So we're not talking a handful again, are we there? 8.3 out of 10. So, I mean, even some of the classic films of all time don't get 8.3 out of 10. So what have we got here? I mean, after that sort of hype, there has to be, and I will say, there's a few ifs and buts about this film. And you do sort of see them if you read between the lines and you read some of the user reviews. A lot of the written reviews are actually not as gushing. I mean, there's a lot of 10 out of 10s. As I said, there's bound to be a lot of 10 out of 10s to get that score. But you just have come up with it just to balance it a little bit, because the critics, and so far it's all been hunky-dory, hasn't it? Let's be honest about it. But I've just picked out a few little comments that sort of interested me and I thought sort of were quite real on Internet Movie Database. CB on the 27th of December, which is today as I'm doing this, wrote, "Good for adults, not for kids," and he gave it a 6 out of 10. He went on to say, "We went into this movie thinking it would be great for a family movie night. Disappointed because it's a good movie for adults, thought-provoking and deep. A movie that kids could never relate to. My kids aged 8 and 11 were bored. Not a movie I would be compelled to watch again." There we go. Someone else wrote, "Pixar can't knock it out of the park every time, but this really is the worst film they've made. Just didn't feel like Pixar at all." Well, I slightly disagree with that. It did feel Pixar, but not in its perhaps its content. Someone else wrote, "I'm more than willing to watch long movies that are super engaging, and this film wasn't even that long, wasn't. But for an hour and 40 minutes, well, 90 minutes, he probably walked out when the credits came on. It felt like it took forever to not do that much." Yeah, interesting one. I'll probably touch on that in a bit. In short, it's a good watch, but definitely forgettable. Yep, and someone else wrote, "This isn't a bad movie. It's just about 45 minutes too long and a little dull, if I'm honest." Yes, I mean, that's half the film gone, isn't it? But to finish on a high, let's finish on a positive, because I say I have found those. I didn't go hunting for them. They were quite obviously sort of close to when I started reading through the reviews. They were quite easy to get hold of. There's a lot more like that as well. But to finish on a high, I'll finish with this one from Marshall Xavier on the 27th of December again, so that's today as I'm doing this, 2020. He wrote, "Emotional, funny and inspiring." He did give it 9 out of 10, so he didn't give it 10 out of 10. So I'll just read this. "This movie, man, where do I start? It tackles some deep subjects for a kids' movie, but if you have children, I would suggest above anything to show them this movie. It tackles depression, anxiety, unfulfillment and a lack of self-knowledge, all in a little under 2 hours. Well, it's only about an hour and a half, mate. The entire movie is somehow more relatable than watching a live action movie. I have never cried and laughed so much at one movie." And he's not alone in that. And I think, obviously, I do look at that and think I've watched a slightly different movie at times. So let's have a look. Bernard's thoughts. I'm not going to waffle on with this. I mean, I can be quite reasonably succinct. Anyway, there are some understandable negatives, I think, in this film, and it's actually lies with the audience. I don't know what audience it's aiming at. It's certainly not aimed at a younger audience. I think that's been hinted at above, and those going to watch a Pixar movie may be a little bit disappointed, like the bored 8 and 11-year-old before. and a lot of the themes in this will fly over a young people's heads. Someone said it's pre-teen. It's probably better for pre-teen, and even that's, I think, a bit of a struggle. I think most of them will get a little bit bored and turn the phones or smartphones or tablets on. To be honest with you, it's pleasant enough. There's some nice weirder caricatures that sort of made me laugh throughout it. Made me smile, not laugh, sorry, smile. I didn't really laugh out loud or anything. And Joe, who's the main character in this, was, for an animation, he was quite investable. I quite liked him. He's a decent guy, you know, obviously took the wrong path and all this sort of thing. But yeah, these 10 out of 10s, I think are far too much. I don't know where these 10 out of 10s are coming from. As I said, I've actually watched this like 1.5 times. I did watch it the first time, then because I was reading some of the reviews as I was watching it, and then I sort of watched half of it again just to see if I'd missed something, if I dozed off or something, which is possible because I did get a little bit bored with it. But yeah, I honestly don't know where the 10 out of 10s are coming from. I mean, it's nice to look at, it's well put together, and it's a very meaningful, as you say, it does try and make some nice points, but I really don't know. I'm certainly very confused by all the high marks. It does get a little bit boring, and even for an adult like me who's watched lots and lots of films and willing to give this plenty of time, because I say, if someone's going to spend $150 million on a film, I'm going to give it my full attention. But 90 minutes felt much longer. It did feel much longer. It did feel more like 2.5 hours and 90 minutes because it did struggle at times. I mean, I honestly expected this to be a lot better. And for $150 million, which I keep mentioning, don't I? But it's a lot of money in this day and age. Obviously, when this was put into production, they didn't realise this COVID was going to hit, did they? But I would expect a near 10 out of 10 film. I would expect a perfect film for that sort of money. And I certainly expect a perfect, enjoyable, family, fun, entertaining animation. But sadly, this isn't quite up there in the higher. Certainly, if you look at Pixar, it's certainly nothing on. Even the worst Toy Story, in my opinion, was far more entertaining than this. And as I say, it's far too deep for the age range I think it's aimed at as well. Yeah. So a lot of give it 10 out of 10. Not for me, I'm afraid. But I will give it a healthy score. But this is far from perfect. So I'm not going to give it my minimum watchable, which I nearly did, which is just 6 out of 10. I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 10 because it is very well put together and it is nice to watch on the screen. And someone did comment, it's nice. The bigger the screen you've got, then the better it is to watch. It is that sort of nice sort of bright feel to it. So I will give it a 6.5 out of 10. But I have no idea at all where some of these critics and Joe Public are getting these high scores from, because I just thought it was nice. I enjoyed it in little parts. I got a bit bored at times, just as I was beginning to get a bit bored with it. It sort of brought me back in again. It brought me back into the film. But yeah, it's I'm going to give it 6.5 out of 10. I wouldn't rave over it like a lot of people are doing. The poster, well, I love the poster. I like the poster. It's nice and simple. It's modern, and I do like it. And I'm going to give the poster victory today. I'm going to give the poster a nice 7 out of 10. So I'm going to give the poster victory because it's nice, simple. I have that on the wall behind me, no problem. So I'll give the poster a healthy 7 out of 10, and the movie 6.5 out of 10. So let me know if you get to watch it. A lot of people have watched it. Obviously, over 34,000 scores have been left on Internet Movie Database. So a lot of people have seen this. Certainly before it was released on Christmas Day, I believe it was released on Amazon Plus. So yeah. So let me know what you think. Anyway, am I being a bit unfair? Or do you think I'm sort of more or less spot on? I just can't see it appealing to everybody, certainly a younger audience. Anyway, thanks for watching today. I'm going to do this today. Have a great one. Look after yourselves, look after your friends, look after your families. More importantly, let's all look after each other. Until we meet again here on the Film and TV channel, perhaps you'll flit over to my football channel, the Citizen channel. Perhaps we'll meet on there. But until then, please stay safe, everyone. Burn the same. Goodbye for now.